you guys are going to be shocked to hear that multiple leaders of all of the anti-Israel protests that are popping up at college campuses across the country have been revealed to be paid fellows of George Soros-connected groups. No way! George Soros is funding all of the chaos and discord that after we knew that he was funding like the BLM riots, and we saw all these weird pallets of bricks that were all, no way. So 3 of the major figures in the pro-Palestine encampments in the universities are fellows at the Soros-funded U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. This is coming from the New York Post. And the organization, let's see, they're being paid, these fellows are being paid up to $7,800 for their labor. Those are community-based fellows. Campus-based fellows are given between $2,880 and $3,660 for spending 8 hours a week organizing campaigns led by Palestinian organizations, and they instruct their fellows to rise up and spark revolution while specifically telling them to reject reform. And I'm shocked. If I had pearls, I would clutch them. I would be very, very shocked to tell you that George Soros is funding this.
To me, it just confirms that none of this is organic. I mean, it never was, more than anything. So regardless of who backed it, obviously Soros and his sort of involvement over the years in various sort of activist organizations, be it aside. Because regardless, all it highlights is that none of this is real, per se. They are being incentivized with the dollar bill and has less to do with like legitimate activism, which is why, I mean, I believe that, considering where a lot of this stuff is concentrated on college campuses, these young folk don't know nothing from nothing. I know I didn't know when I was that young either. But if you do see these sort of man on the streets conversations that they have with these activists, they ask them like, what exactly are we protesting here?
So good. They're like, I don't know.
They have no idea.
I don't know. Did you see the NYU protesters?
Yes.
I think NYU is doing. Do you know if NYU is doing anything? I think that we have that. To your point, Eric. Let's play that quickly.
And what would you say is the main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU is doing.
Is there something that NYU is doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU is doing?
It's
About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
The max.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's all perfect.
I wish I was more educated. I'm not
I wish you were too.
I came from Columbia. I was there up at Columbia, and we came down. They said NYU students needed our support. So I came down. I heard there's lots of cops. Some people were saying it was getting dangerous.
Sheep.
Yeah.
That's all they are.
Yeah, none of this is real. They don't know what they're talking about at all. I mean, you ask, and I would argue if you ask the vast majority of them there, like, what exactly are we protesting? They don't know. We just had this conversation, I believe, Tuesday here, where we talked about these like impressionable, like young people, and that's purposely why these people target that demographic, because they'll basically eat up anything, right? And because everybody's trying to reinvent the wheel of activism, they want to look. It is quite literal definition of first world problems is what's happening here. This era that we're living through now, arguably, yes, there's conflict in the Middle East, but there always has been, but you're still living in the most peaceful times in human history. Let's just be completely honest about this. Not to say things don't maybe suck in some capacity, but that's the honest to God's truth. So what has to happen is that everybody wants their movement. Everybody wants their moment. They want to feel like I'm doing something and I'm a part of something that is going to be remembered forever. The civil rights activists, if you will. None of them are that. And none of them can even tell you what they are part of. But this is why I always say, Sarah, like activism is the occupation of losers. That's what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, they lack purpose in their lives. We've spoken about this before. Yeah. They feel like everyone does. Everyone has that hole in their life to have self-worth, right? And real self-worth comes from giving to something else, right? And normally we would say that would be a god or, something that you'd think was a noble exploit. It used to be, I'm going to go and join the military. I'm going to go and, fight for my country, whatever it is. And this is what it is for them. What is interesting, it's the same thing with what happened with the lockdowns. I wasn't around here, so I didn't. I'm pretty sure I know what your guys' stances were. But when I came out against BLM, right, because it was clearly, AstroTurf, right? It was clearly lies, clearly manipulated, not organic, as you said. It wasn't. They did a really good job of kind of guiding people. Well, now you can really see it. And so what they've done is they've taken that formula and they've moved it over here. So I hope that what that does is people that were suckered into that last movement now are going to look and go, oh, okay, I see it now. I really see that I'm being manipulated, or I was manipulated because these people are being manipulated. But let me ask you this. What is the end goal? Is it just chaos? Is it just conflict?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that what it is? That's it?
I think that's really what it is. It's a ripe demographic to create said conflict, right? Also, if you have look, the major players may know exactly what they advocate, right? Pushing that on to other people is going to be a different ball game. So they have to be creative. They have to be sleazy. They have to be grimy and dirty. So what better way to do that than to go to that impressionable class and say, we're going to give you a cause to fight for, right? You don't even need to really know the ins and outs of what's happening right now, let alone the actual conflict between Palestinians and Israel. You don't need to know any of that. Just understand that this is the set of purpose that we're going to give you. So I do believe it is about the chaos, but on the other hand, I do also believe that the actual handlers, the shot callers, know exactly what they want, and they're far more purposeful. But that's why I think they target these certain demographics that will go out there and advocate for whatever. You brought up the COVID thing. We saw a large body of people that were just all on board for something that was objectively wrong. So while they may have been going into it with a different idea, I do believe those that wanted the control got the control they ultimately wanted, and COVID may have been their vehicle. So there's sinister stuff at play as well.
If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.